Boo. Boom, 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 boom.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
All right. Let's try that again. Hello, folks. Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of It's General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. Okay, we're already getting off to the same start we got yesterday. We do apologize for having to postpone for a day, but it was just one of those weeks for everybody. We're just So anyway, I feel like I've forgotten something. Is my mustache on? I feel like I've forgotten something now. Let's bring up Major Millie Hazzard.
Hello, General. I'm learning how to do my salute here. So I'm from New York. I'm from New York. I like coffee, but right now I'm having raspberry tea. What are you drinking, General?
Well, of course, I'm drinking chicken. This is going to be me the whole show. Mango peach tea. This is going to be me the whole show. I can tell.
Wunderbar.
Did I say wunderbar during all that?
I don't know, but I said it.
Usually when I have a flub like that, I go right into Japanese. So get back up here. I don't want to be alone now.
No, I'm right here. I don't know. Okay, there I am. Okay, we have tell us about the training film we're gonna have today, General.
Okay, this is our first foray into the werewolf universe. We're going to talk about werewolves and about lycanthropy. And we have an expert on here. We found an expert. He creates monsters for a living. That's what he does, but not the kind that'll hurt us. But they are scary monsters, and he is. I know for a fact that this guy is a expert on werewolves. So the movie the training film that we're going to watch today, or that we're going to go through the timeline with, is called The Howling. And it's probably one of the best representations of werewolves out there. So let's go ahead and bring up our guest, Mr. Alan Hops.
Hello.
Known to his friends as Wolfie. So glad to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, of course. I'm happy to be on. Anything that I can do where my job title is werewolf expert, I'm in.
There you go. So you are a huge fan of this movie, The Howling.
Absolutely. Film. It is the Quist werewolf in it is my favorite visual representation of a werewolf. It hovers right at that top spot. There's a couple others which I think are really good werewolves, but the Howling Quist werewolf, because there's several looks in the movie. They don't stick to all werewolves look like this, which is nice.
Right.
There's different varieties, totally different varieties. And so that's why it's one of the more accurate training films. What do you think, General?
I agree. I mean, no two people are alike, so it would make sense that no two werewolves would be alike.
Exactly. And as a cryptozoologist, which is one of my zoologist, I can totally confirm that this is accurate. I do have a university degree from a real university. Thank you.
Because you've got the coat on.
I have an actual laboratory coat, fellas. Yes, exactly.
No, you do have some zoology in your background. You do have some cryptozoology in your background.
Indeed, yes.
You're a huge Bigfoot fan. We got to do a Bigfoot movie on here.
Very big Bigfoot fan. There's many varieties. You know, I don't want to go off on tangents here, but there's swamp ape, and there's you see, and there's Sasquatch, and there's Yeti. There's so many different ones.
Yeren, Ohio grassman, the Yowie in Australia.
Yes.
Thank you.
There's a ton.
And I think they're werewolves.
No, they're entirely different. They're entirely different species.
See, that's going into Rougarou territory where it is this weird mix of things.
I'm kidding. I don't mean to give it misinformation.
There's also Harry and the Hendersons, which is its own thing. I feel like that's its own. Let's not open that one.
So the person responsible for the werewolves in this is a makeup effects creator, Rob Bottin. Am I correct?
Yes. Yep.
And this was one of his first
work. Yeah. It was one of his first on his own. he had already been doing good work under Rick Baker. He had already been doing other work. He happened to see this happened right around the same time as American Werewolf in London, and there was this split, and it was really the battle of the werewolf transformations because
That's right.
Yeah, Rob Bottin decided to do his a certain way, and then Rick Baker did his, very different way, full light,
Right.
and they were very different. We get a very bubbly change in the Howling and a very stretchy change in American Werewolf in London.
Now the whole bladder thing that you were talking about, where they
lots of werewolf. Boy, there's an old comedian who has he impersonates a pot of pea soup coming to a boil, and that is what it reminds me of, because there's so many like bladders. It's like I bet there's 30 bladders on that head, all making it.
Now that was a Joe Blasco thing, right? There was a makeup artist named Joe Blasco who used to like to use those.
Yes, he did. He I don't know if he was like the first one to invent it, but he very much popularized it.
Yes.
Yeah. And Savini used a lot of bladders too, but I think a little after Joe.
Okay. So, Millie, well, wait a minute. Let me shill a little bit here. I've been hit hard this week. I won't tell you how or why, but it involves the government, and by gosh. So we do have stickers available for the show.
They're wonderful stickers. I love
lovely
the
sticker. This one's $1. And then we have a giant sticker, the giant Howitzer sticker with Hazzard there and myself. And it says your last line of defense. These are $2.
Feel protected, people. That's a good thing that we're the last line of defense. I feel very, very confident in our power.
And of course, we have the Howitzer caps that you can buy for $20, and they have the rank on them. If you want to buy just the cap, $15. I do that. We just gave away one of these this week. Alana Long, congratulations, won one on the show Painting with Rory.
I love her. She's amazing.
He gave away one on his show, and we're very grateful of that to help promote this show.
Thank you.
And we're coming up with new stuff all the time. I'm hoping to get a cup made that has the Howitzer logo on it, and maybe get some T-shirts done. But that's what we got so far.
Wonderful.
So let's get to our timeline.
Do you have any noises to regale us with, General, when you drink your tea there? The cadets love this, Alan. It's one of their favorite things. The cadets look forward. He makes wonderful sounds when he's imbibing.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I can do the sheriff in this movie is played by Slim Pickens, and it's worth the price of admission just to see Slim Pickens turn into a werewolf at the end. By the way, if you watch this show, to hell with spoilers. We talk about the whole movie from beginning to end, so just know that ahead of time. You're going to get spoilers.
There's one point in the movie where Slim Pickens was disregarded by the wardrobe folks. His sheriff shirt is way too tight.
We have a slide of that.
It's a little creepy. Yeah.
Yes, it was extremely tight. The buttons were about to pop off. He was turning into a werewolf already. So, okay, the title card was right out of the gate, and a wolf howl. This was a surprise cast for this film. This was shot by this training film was shot by Joe Dante, who went on to make a bunch of other great films, including the Gremlins films. And again, in his films, there's a lot of little like Easter eggs, if you will, a lot of cameo appearances by people who he likes to use in his films. Dee Wallace, Patrick McNee, Dennis Dugan, who later went on to become a big director in Hollywood, Slim Pickens, John Carradine of the Carradine family, Chris Stone, Kevin McCarthy, which you see here, he's the producer of the station, and Rob Picardo, who was the holographic doctor on one of the later Star Trek shows.
Also, Meg Mucklebones in Legend, the movie Legend, the swamp witch that came out of the water. That was a beautiful look there. A Dr. George Wagner is the name of Patrick McNee, and that's also a nod to the director or producer, I should say, of Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
who later directed on Batman, and you know, he was a writer, producer, director in Hollywood, named George Wagner. Anyway, he's a shrink, Patrick McGee, in this, and he's on the local TV station, Channel 6, KDHB. Reporter is going to be bait for mass murder. Her name's Karen White, and I have a friend named Karen White, by the way. The murderer is Eddie Quist, as you said, the Quist werewolf. There's actually 3 Quist werewolves in this. They're a family, which we find out later. So anyway, she's in a phone booth. She's talking to the people at the station. She's got a microphone on under her clothes. She doesn't realize that it's not working very well. We know how that goes. Her husband, Bill, and her friend Christopher at the station, they're supposedly in control with the camera link up. So Eddie leads her to a porn store as old-time producer Roger Corman takes over the phone booth and makes a phone call of his own.
Well, that was a fun cameo.
Yes.
Just to see him show up in the phone booth. There's a couple fun cameos in this movie that
Yes.
the first time that I saw it, I was not expecting.
Right. And I didn't catch it the first time I saw this. I only caught it this week when I was rewatching the film. I was like, hey, that's Roger Corman. So that would be the next slide, I think. Yeah, the guy that takes over the phone booth there is Roger Corman. Just to let you know, he did a lot of films back in the 60s and the 70s, and he's been a big producer in horror films, notorious for low budget films, for keeping his budget way down. So again, Eddie leads her to a porn shop. Karen walks in to the rendezvous, not realizing that her mic is transmitting properly. She pretty much clears out the joint, being an attractive woman walking into a porn shop. Not sure why that was, but we realize that the happy face sticker is the trademark for Eddie Quist, the murderer. He likes to leave a trail of happy faces, smiley faces, to where he is. Eddie tells Karen he's going to change her life.
That's true. He did.
There's the happy face. He said he was going to light up her body. Yeah, all the big bad wolves say that. So he's a sick puppy. Two police officers track her just in time. And that there's another surprise cameo. This is an actor that's been in a lot of horror films. His name is Ken Toby. And he was in a lot of horror films back in the 50s. And he's in just about everything Joe Dante does somewhere. So the young guy that's with him is just shooting up the place. You know, shoot first, ask questions later. When he hears her screaming.
It was very, very immediate.
Yes.
They did not announce themselves. Police work by today's standard would be considered very sloppy.
Yes.
Very sloppy.
Yes.
And
most police officers don't do that.
I remember in the in that scene where she's headed into the store, they blame the bad radio on all of the neon signs that are around. Which
the radio. The signal.
They say that as the reason. It's like our microphone's not working because of all the neon signs around. Another weird bit in that, the cop they then send cops to look for her on the street because they don't know where she is and the mic's not working.
Right.
And they show 2 cops driving around and they say, oh, we should be able to see her pretty easy because she's wearing, a purple outfit. And like they're in a red light district. Was 70s not a popular streetwalker color in?
Well, it wasn't red and black.
Yeah.
But yes, you are absolutely correct. Purple would have been a harder thing to spot with all the neon around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
makes perfect sense.
That's a good point. So, okay, next day, Karen gets werewolf amnesia. She can't remember what Eddie did when she turned around. And she doesn't like to be touched. That's too bad for Bill. But that plays into this later. The news reporters, Christopher and Terry, get to Eddie's room. They find out where his room is, and it confirms that he is, I would say, a little disturbed.
Yes, very disturbed.
Seems to like hairy women, too.
Yes, lots of drawings of hairy women and hairy dudes. And there's one drawing. Go back. Can you go back one slide? I'm sorry to ask that, but and I don't even know. There's one drawing that they look at for a second on camera, and I
Uh-huh.
swear it's a drawing of a Paul Naschy Wolfman.
Oh,
And Paul Naschy is he was a Polish bodybuilder who he wanted to be in in movies, and he said, I want to play the Wolfman in movies, and they said no. So he took his bodybuilding winnings and he built this horror movie empire where he played the Wolfman.
right. He
And
did several pictures as the
oh,
Wolfman.
he did a lot of them, and they are wonderfully terrible.
Yes, and most of those were in the 70s, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. There was another guy, Earl Owensby,
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
who also had his own movie company that he created himself, like in the Carolinas or something.
Yeah.
And used to do B films for like the drive-in theaters. And he did a Wolfman picture where he played a werewolf.
Yep.
I remember.
Yeah.
That.
There's a lot of fun, sketchy ones out there.
So this sketch here in the middle here, do you think that's his sister? Do you think that's Marcia?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe like the brows say yes, but like whoever drew that, I think would be able to nail that because his sister is played by Elizabeth Brooks,
Right.
who yes, that was the noise I would make if I could make that noise. Like when I was younger, the only like girly poster that I had in my room was Fangoria magazine had a
There you go.
it was one of the fold out posters of her, and it was probably 3 or 4. It folded out, but that poster was on my wall. It was a her
Okay.
from the Howling. Yeah.
I gotta ask. Was it her in the outfit, just, or was it her in the outfit with green eyes and fangs?
I think she did have the fangs in. Yeah, I think she had the green eyes and fangs. I would have to check to make sure because it's been a while. But
I had to ask.
She did not look like fully human.
Well, we will discuss that at length a little later on down the line as it gets a little kinkier. This has got to be one of the kinkiest werewolf movies ever made. I think the only one that kind of matched its sexual intensity was a sequel that was like part 4, where they came back to the colony and they turned another guy into a werewolf by being bitten by a sexy temptress. I think that was part 4. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you already brought up the sequels.
Yes.
I think there's like 11 of them out there.
Oh my God.
And
I know Sybil Danning was in part 2.
In the Howling movies is the worst movie that I have ever seen. It's part of the Howling franchise. This one is wonderful. Certainly in comparison.
Was it the Australian one?
No, that one's not bad. The Marsupials. One of the most uncomfortable scenes to watch in a room with anyone else is this baby marsupial werewolf crawling up to its pouch. And it was like a 3-minute long scene. That's terrible. But there's in the Howling, and I think it's like Rebirth. There's so many of them. But most of the movie takes place at a country western bar, and probably 30% of the movie is just line dancing.
Oh my God!
It is a terrible
silver bullet time.
Terrible movie. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now you piqued my interest to the point where I probably want to find that film just to see how bad it is.
Oh, I can send you a link. Another thing that stands out in my mind about that is the amount of establishing shots and how long they stay on establishing shots. They do like an establishing shot, and it's almost like Earth, like continent, state, mountain range, and then the outside of the country western bar, just to make sure you know where you're at.
And then line dancing stage, zooms right in.
I really think that they just needed more movie So they just threw in all these stock establishing shots.
I think they did that with one of the later Leprechaun films too. You know, they had the Lord of the Dance kind of thing going on in that. I could be wrong.
Now, the Leprechaun franchise has one of my favorite. Can we go off on a little tangent?
We can.
A little tangent.
We can.
Before Leprechaun in the Hood was made, they tried to get Warwick Davis to do it, and he said no. And they were insistent. So he sent back, like, he wanted, it was like 5 times his normal salary. And he gave this list of weird demands because I think he had just had kids or something. He didn't want to do scary stuff anymore. But his demands were like 5 times his salary, which was for him very high at the time. And he was only going to be in makeup for 1 day. And he wanted backup dancers. Like, that was like a joke throw in. If you watch Leprechaun in the Hood, the first one, almost all of his shots, he's like locked in a box or on the other side of a door. So all his shots were done in 1 day of him in makeup. And then they're interacting with him, but he's inside the box. So it's and when
or
they
it's
shoot,
the back of his head, it's another midget dressed up.
And when they shoot, when they shoot inside of his crate, which becomes his warehouse room, he has the zombie fly girls backup dancers because that was his ridiculous demand. And he turned those in, and they were like, "Yes, we'll do it." And history was made.
And there was a case of Rolling Rock with the caps taken off. That's my favorite demand I've ever heard for Andrew Dice Clay, the comedian. He has to have a tub of, whenever he does a gig, a tub of Rolling Rock beer with the caps already untwisted off on them. So all he has to do is just breathe the cap off and then start drinking. And I just thought, what a bizarre, strange request. And I get it. So anyway, okay, we went off on some tangents there. Karen is not ready to get back on the air. She kind of freezes up. She can't tell her story about Eddie Quist, and that's a disappointment. So Karen goes to Dr. Wagner, who has he's been following the Quist case, the Quist story, as an advisor, and he suggests that she go up to the, quote, colony, unquote. And as we all suspect, the colony is not all what it seems. The people there, there's a kind of a southern country feel, a nice country feel to it, and Karen and Bill aren't exactly comfortable with it. Bill starts warming up to it right away, though, in this next shot. Because there she is. Little punch does wonders. 24 minutes and 30 seconds. The locals seem nice enough. There is another Quist, and again, we don't know they're the Quists. We don't know that they're Eddie Quist's brother and sister until later in the film.
So, I'm not an actor, all right, but
yes, you are.
I'm looking at, okay, I guess but I'm not a movie actor. I'm looking at this guy, and I've always wondered, like, do you say I need someone who looks like an inbred and looks creepy as heck, and then is there like a line of guys going, "Ooh, I could do that," because I would feel like, if I had to ask for someone who looks like that, I would kind of feel a little bit weird because that's a creepy looking dude.
It is. I don't know of any other movie that he's been in or any other TV show that he's been in. I haven't checked him on IMDb, but yes, he is perfect for this role. And again, they have him decked out in a fur vest.
Great taste in vests. I would wear that.
So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that this guy is probably, an inbred werewolf, like you said. Definitely. So, Colony Oldster Earl, played by John Carradine, he wants to end it all. He wants to jump in the fire. And for the record, I'm going to ask our guest this. The only way to kill a werewolf is with silver. Am I correct?
Oh, this is heated. Okay. This is
pun intended.
This is a heated issue.
Because this movie says there's 2 ways now. You can burn them up too.
Almost everything dies from fire. Almost everything in the monster kingdom, the animal, almost all dies from being burned.
Mhm.
There's a I can go historical, right?
Okay.
There's a belief in France that if you kill Bisclaveret or a vampire, either one, you have to burn them. And then when the fire starts to die down, birds, bats, bugs, and rodents will start running out of the fire, and you have to catch and kill all of those, or else any one of them can carry the soul of the Bisclaveret, which is a French version of a werewolf,
Mhm.
and make it be alive again.
Okay.
Some things say that you have to cut off the head and the left hand. If you cut off the head and the left hand, no matter what, it's dead.
Now, I'd never heard about the left hand.
There are
The head, yeah, decapitate a vampire. But again, even in one of the Hammer monster films, the Dracula films, they take his ashes, pour it into a coffin kind of sarcophagus thing, and then pour blood on it, and boom, he comes back.
I got better. Yes, that happens. And the connection to silver with werewolves really didn't exist that much before the Wolfman. I think that was kind of a Kurt Siodmak or whatever, however you pronounce his name. I think that was kind of his doing. It was very much linked. It wasn't linked nearly as much as it was. So silver is kind of new. And if you think about a werewolf, they certainly existed long before silver bullets did.
Well, yeah. How about Wolfsbane?
Wolfsbane is great for keeping wolves away. Should work on werewolves.
Okay.
I think it would be poisonous. I don't think it'll kill them because nothing ever says Wolfsbane will kill them.
Okay.
And
just as a deterrent,
right?
Like garlic to a vampire.
Yes, yeah. I don't like garlic. Well,
here, have this piece of pizza.
I don't like onions, but I will still murder someone if I have to who's holding onions at me. You know, I think that's the garlic and the Wolfsbane is a little ridiculous. But
Hazzard, are you there? I want you to weigh in on this.
Yes, General. What would you like me to weigh in on?
As far as killing a werewolf or deterring a werewolf from attacking you.
Yes.
What are your feelings on this?
It's exactly what he said. You can't. There's no other recourse that you have. That's it.
Fire's good.
That's it.
I think it works.
Or sometimes fire, but they can sustain bodily damage. So anything that's going to injure a bodily thing,
they've got to be trapped in the fire. They can't get out, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
So, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, because if you just burn a werewolf, it can run off and just lick his wounds, and 3 days later,
you have to get his back.
According to this movie, he's fine 3 days later.
He's got to get his back. You got to really detain the werewolf. He must be detained.
You got to lock him down to the fire somehow.
You got to lock him.
Or he has to decide to jump in, which is the case in this.
There you go. I mentioned that Hazzard is from Yonkers. Okay.
There's an
Sometimes I forget that, General. Thank you for reminding me. I am from Yonkers in New York. Thank you.
Yes.
There's a very old legend, one of the first legends of werewolves that was written down, where it is a soldier became a werewolf, and he is attacking his sweetheart who's on a cart, and she flicks her apron at him, and being hit by the apron of his love makes him turn around and not attack her.
That's a pee-whipped werewolf there. I'll tell you right now.
It's folklore, man. It's folklore. It's weird.
and again, in the movies, one of the movies, like House of Dracula or House of Frankenstein, I can't remember which one. I think it was House of Frankenstein. It says that you have to be shot with a silver bullet by someone you love. It's like, hey, you just changed the whole mythos there. What's going on?
Yeah, that's another modifier. So just if you're a giant jerk of a werewolf, then you're invincible because no one's going to love you.
Not even a silver bullet. Because I don't think Christopher at the end of this movie loves any of these people. That's just my my failing. So I like to think that the silver would do it, period.
That's a convenient belief. Yes.
So, because again, Lon Chaney gets hit in the head with a silver cane. That does him in for that time. They bury him, but he comes back.
He comes back a lot.
So yes, so they got to keep the silver in them, I guess.
Yes.
And there was a movie. It was one of the worst werewolves in werewolf history. It was just a dog in a werewolf costume. The Beast Must Die, I think was the name of it.
Okay.
Where they had to test people to see if they were the werewolf. You had a werewolf break at the end of the movie, by the way. It was a 60-second. Who is the werewolf? Tick tock, tick tock. But they would put a silver bullet in the mouth of everybody and have them spit it back out to see if they would turn into a werewolf.
That's a good test. I think they couldn't. I don't think they could hold, because the connection with silver, even for vampires, is that it's a blessed metal. It's a pure metal.
Okay.
It's it's very pure. That's why it's used a lot for crucifixes and jewelry, and that's kind of its magical property.
And it's supposedly poisonous to them.
Yes, like wolfsbane.
So yeah, if you shot them with a wolfsbane bullet where it stays inside them,
that might do it.
With a silver bullet
until it comes out.
It might do it until, like you said, until it comes out.
I have a weird little alarm going off. I'm going to be right back, but you can talk about the clip.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go back to our timeline here. In the cabin, Karen hears howling outside.
That's never a good sign. Never a good sign in a werewolf movie. You hear the howling, you know that something's going to happen. They even called it that for this reason. That's one way you know. I did want to address Cadet Farwell. She did ask if she should be trading in her silver bullets for a flamethrower. And General, I don't know if you want to give your recommendation.
Only if you can lock them in a room and you can flamethrower them through a hole somehow. Again, silver bullets a lot easier. The bullet goes in them, stays in them.
There's different varieties, and you never know what's going to work. You can have a full arsenal. And just rotate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, always be prepared, right, General? You have to be prepared for whatever's going to come your way.
Right. We're trying to give them decent information on how to keep them werewolves from biting them.
Exactly.
Because if a werewolf bites you and you survive, you become a werewolf. So that's not
exactly good. We don't want that.
But her husband says it's just the wind. Anytime any character in a monster movie says it's just the wind, it's bad. Okay,
it's never a good sign. The husbands never believe the wives. Husbands, listen to your wives. They know what's going on. They have intuition. Feminine intuition is a real thing.
So Karen can't sleep. So, hey, she goes outside. It's okay. She's got a flashlight. It's a silver flashlight. Nice creepy guy in the woods too. That's our favorite boy there. Hello, Central Casting. Send us the creepiest inbred looking guy you can find that looks like he could be a werewolf.
Yeah, like that has to be listed on his skill set. That has to be a thing where, I look kind of inbred. Michael Berryman has made a great career kind of from looking like a weirdo.
There you go.
Talented, good actor, but also has a unique look.
3130, the local sheriff. Here's the picture you're talking about. The local sheriff talks to Karen about her, quote, coyote problem. And his shirt is a little too tight.
That it almost looks like he has abs.
I think he asked for that because Slim Pickens is usually a comic actor. And I think he probably chose them to make his clothes tight for that reason.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay. He has as much faith in those buttons as most people do in silver bullets.
There you go. So the news crew go to check Eddie's body, but in the morgue, the locker is empty. Somebody beat the hell out of it, the door, from the inside out, as you can see there. And that's at 33 minutes. 35 minutes, the locals go looking for what was killing the livestock in the area. Bill goes with them. And we got several pictures here of the different people of the colony. There's John Carradine, looking very happy to be in a movie. There's Slim Pickens, covering up that tight shirt now in this one. I never noticed that Slim Pickens had a hair lip. That he had a split lip that was repaired until I saw that picture.
Yeah.
Next we have the group of werewolves guys, and then we come to the little therapy session with Dee Wallace. Karen is having a little therapy session, a group therapy session. She's trying to remember Dr. Wagner. Can't drag it out of her though. She can't. She still can't remember what happened when Eddie Quist told her to turn around.
So, all right, are we allowed to talk about spoilers?
Sure.
Okay.
This whole show is about spoilers.
Well, everybody in that room is a werewolf.
Yes.
So, if she remembers it,
they're gonna get her.
Yeah, if she remembers it, like movie's over, and they're rah, and they all like dog pile. Forgive the term.
I turned around and he was a werewolf. Rah!
Yeah, they're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
she knows that we gotta get
Tear
her
apart.
You know, it's like her amnesia kept her safe.
Yes. The minute she realizes what happens, yeah, that's when it's trouble. That's when the whole town jumps on her. Very good. 38 minutes. The news duo check out the occult bookstore for clues. And here is our next cameo. Dick Miller is in the movie Buckets of Blood. He's in a lot of Roger Corman movies. He's the proprietor of the store here. And that's Forrest J. Ackerman, who is the Acker Monster, as he calls himself. He was the head of Famous Monsters of Filmland, which was a huge magazine back in the late 50s and 60s and 70s for monster lovers.
Uncle Forey.
Uncle Forey, there you go. And again, his cameo in here, fans know it. When they see him, they go, hey! So, and Dick Miller, again, has been in a lot of Roger Corman films. He's in everything Joe Dante has ever done. He's in both of the Gremlins films. He's in everything that Joe Dante has done. So he must be a great guy to work with. And he's a really good actor. He's a good character actor.
Solid character actor, absolutely.
Even though he's kind of Dick Miller and everything, every character he plays kind of a little bit. Snarky. He's a snarky character actor. So he even sells our heroes a box of silver bullets. So Bill finds himself, after he hunts a rabbit, he finds himself in Marcia's shack. And as Hall & Oates once sang, she's a man-eater. Marcia. I'm sorry, you were going to say something, Alan?
I was. I don't want to hurt our timeline, but if
no, it's okay. Go back.
Okay, so go back a couple pictures into the bookstore.
Okay.
Because there's a nun in the background.
Oh.
And if you see that nun back there, not significant to this movie at all, but there is a remake of this one done, I think, in like the late 80s, where it's another Howling, but it's returned, whatever. It's one of the Howlings.
Right.
And that whole storyline changes the colony and it changes things. And she is led by the ghost of a nun. And I almost wonder if this nun in the bookstore was kind of a seed that started that version.
I thought you were going to say it was a cameo from somebody famous, but I did think that it was amusing that a nun would go into an occult bookstore.
It depends
even though,
on your
hey, you want to check out your competition. You want to know what evil is if you're going to be a nun.
Yeah,
makes sense. But I thought that little detail was interesting. So Terry comes up to the colony to see Karen and Bill. And Bill's eating. He's a vegetarian. He's been saying throughout the first half of the movie, I'm a vegetarian, and he's eating meat. He's loving it.
Because the clip before this, he was at Marcia's house.
Wait a minute.
Right?
Hold the phone. Yeah, he got bitten.
He was attacked.
He got bitten the night before.
Coming
back.
I
skipped that part. Sorry.
He was attacked by let's just say it was a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My feeling was it was either Marcia or her brother.
I think it was her brother.
Okay. Very good. All right. So Terry, well, actually, let's go back up to the top here. On the way back to the shack, yeah, Bill gets attacked. Karen has more nightmares, and Bill has gone off for a walk.
Walk.
Yes, Marcia is like a Canadian Mountie. She always gets her man. So Bill, in our next shot, appears to be happy at last.
And yeah, this is the night after his attack. So they're establishing that it only takes 24 hours for werewolfery to set in.
Under the right conditions.
Right. But this series also says that a werewolf can turn into a werewolf anytime they want.
Correct.
Doesn't have to be a full moon.
They don't have to wait for the full moon. Yes.
Right.
Which I like that. I like that concept.
I would also agree with that.
And in the movie Silver Bullet, they kind of went with that as well. That a werewolf could turn if it's not the full moon. But as the full moon comes out, it gets harder and harder to not become a werewolf.
So what I really like about this series is that these are werewolves. A werewolf has a snout.
Yes.
And normally they are bipedal. They have a form in between wolf and man. But a wolf man wolf-men are normally cursed. And they look at the werewolf condition, the wolf-man condition as a curse. And they're the ones who normally they kill the one that they love, and they become a wolf man by being bitten or attacked by another werewolf.
Correct.
A werewolf in lore often was a criminal, was trying to escape people, and they would go into the woods, and the dark man of the forest would make them a deal. I will give you a gift that you can evade your pursuers and carry on doing whatever you want to do. And normally it was a wolfskin belt or salve that they put on themselves in order for them to turn, a little pot of juice or whatever to put on themselves and become a werewolf. And so the werewolf is a werewolf willingly. They want to be a werewolf. A wolf man, it's a curse.
Okay.
So there's two creatures that are really mixed up folklore wise.
Well, and it seems to me that people in this colony, they want to be werewolves.
They want to be werewolves.
Yes.
When
There's
Carradine,
Marcia doing her thing.
Yes. Yeah. When Carradine, when he wanted to throw himself in the fire, we talked about that earlier. He was saying he was old. He doesn't have the teeth for it.
Right.
But there's a question there. How long was he a werewolf? Did he become a werewolf after he was old? Because did his body, degenerate with time and age? How old is he? But anyway, he doesn't have the teeth to be a good werewolf. However, when they show him changing at the end, he's got a mouthful of chompers.
We got a picture of that. Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about. So
well, and that brings up the idea that maybe that was a ruse. I'm not sure, or maybe he was drinking too much was what it was. So maybe when he's not drinking, he's not heavily intoxicated. He's okay. He's like, I'll be all right. So yeah, Marcia's doing her thing there, and the doctor hears them howling and growling as they have sex as werewolves, and he's like, "Oh God, Marcia, not again!" and Terry actually records their horny little discourse there. So that's kind of kinky. I'm sorry.
Well, I think you just hear that they think it's werewolves howling, or they think it's the coyote problem that Slim Pickens brought up.
Yeah, Terry probably, she didn't realize they're having sex.
Right.
Although she should have. With those kind of howls, she should have.
Just rhythmic, horrifying noises.
Now, Terry realizes from one of Eddie's sketches that, oh my God, the colony, he's from there. And then she checks out a cabin close by, and she finds Eddie's country room where he stays in the country. And then she's attacked, and it's a werewolf, and she chops its arm off. Nice move. Oops! It changes back to a human hand.
Look at how bubbly that is.
The bubbly hand.
It like that last shot. It looks inflated like someone blew up a latex glove.
Yes, indeed. So it's going to be a hard time explaining that, though. Terry runs to the doc's office to see if she can get help, and she ends up calling her better half, Christopher, at the station, tells him to get there quick. And Eddie is there as a werewolf. He attacks her. I love the fact that he grabs the folder from her hand to announce his presence. And he's a big mean werewolf too.
Okay, so this werewolf, that is quintessential. To me, that's what a werewolf looks like. There is an evil glee in its eye. It is bipedal. It's in what they call a krynos form, where he's, between 7 and 9 feet tall. He gains all the mass of a 200-pound wolf on a man, so that really beefs him up. Just a beautiful werewolf, one of my favorites.
What big ears you have, Grandma.
It does look like he's about to file that. If you can see, he's holding the folder, it looks like.
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Say goodnight, Terry.
This kill, though. It always bothered me when I was a youngster and I would watch The Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr. And anytime he killed, he would choke them. He would put his hands on their throat and just kind of choke them into unconsciousness. And the Quist werewolf, the Eddie werewolf, he grabs her by the throat and chokes her for a long time before it gets down to any biting.
Right. And again, that's the same way in the Universal movies. The police or the people that find the body always say, you don't see it, but they always say it cut right through the jugular vein.
Yeah, its throat was ripped out.
Big neck bite. Yeah, big neck bite.
But lots of kinky werewolf strangling first.
Yes. Let me shake him around a bit. Play with my food. All right, let's get through these wonderful werewolf slides of him attacking and menacing. And
so this was a change. Like, you saw the change happen here,
right.
The transformation, and this was the difference between American Werewolf in London was full light, and this is because when she was attacked in the theater, you saw nothing. You didn't even see Quist at all, except for a backlit shot from behind when she first gets there, and you never saw any kind of a change or anything.
They were saving it for later.
We don't even know what the cops saw who shot. But
right.
Look at how dark this is. Look at how silhouetted it is.
Yes.
And I think this is a better transformation than American Werewolf in London.
Yes. Yeah, that one was in full light in a living room. And again, we are definitely going to do that one on this show sometime in the future, and I'll call you back for that.
My favorite werewolf transformation is actually in the movie Monster Squad. And it's a wolf man. It's not a werewolf, but it takes place in 5 seconds in a phone booth. He's calling the police, and he says, "I'm gonna kill your son," and then boom, a werewolf jumps out of the phone booth.
Right.
It's like 5 seconds. It's not this long, agonizing thing. It's the werewolf wants out. The werewolf is getting out.
And we're going to talk about that long transformation in a minute because it's coming up in just a few seconds. So yes, Karen comes in to the office just a little while after, and she finds Terry, or what's left of her. And she finds Eddie, who has changed back into Eddie.
And put all his clothes back on.
And somehow got clothes back on. Yes. I wondered about that myself. This is a face that only a mother can love, as I always like to say, or a sister in this case. Marsha. Okay, let's focus on this transformation that's going to happen here. As long as this is this transformation, as long as the transformation takes.
She could have bailed. She could have run.
Yeah, I mean, he's holding up his hands so you can see his nails come out. He's pumping his chest up.
Now, I
would think she could run like hell and get a huge starting run on this thing.
They probably should have cut to her just like shaking in fear or trauma, because really, like, this is like 3 minutes of him changing alone. And I don't know that they ever cut back to her with like what she's like checking her watch. Like, this is taking a while, But yeah, this is not a
great thing you're doing a spoof for this.
It's not a fast, murdery transformation. And what is this face? What is happening there?
This is the one that one of these things is not like the other. It's like, what the hell?
it's a little bit Rictus grin and a little bit like Joker gone feral.
Yeah, wait till they
It's
get
weird.
a load of me.
Yeah.
It's a little Cheshire cat too. Little Cheshire.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the one scene they probably could have clipped from this and we wouldn't have missed it. I think probably Rob Bottin just liked it a lot. Anyway, she has wits enough now to throw acid in his face. Oh, wait a minute. He's still transforming. I'm sorry. There you go. She throws acid in his face. Yes.
I have a question. If you go to a psychiatrist and they just keep a jar of acid, a large jar of acid on their desk.
Yes.
Because they show her reaching back to grab that, like she knew it was there. And there weren't like a bunch of other bottles. It was just like, look, here's my jar of acid that I've got on my desk.
It could have been a urine sample, with a lot of acid in it.
That was a very conveniently placed jar of acid.
Or maybe
there was, to my knowledge, no foreshadowing of.
Maybe it was holy water with a little silver in it, or some wolfsbane.
Yeah, a nice wolfsbane tincture. That might
just in case any of his patients go a little crazy on him. Now he's got something to protect himself with. Now we realize that the girls are doomed in this next shot because Christopher's driving a Mazda.
Which the guy at the gas station makes a comment of he says, "Oh, I don't have the money for a Mazda. I'm one like ordinary people." Okay,
exactly. It's like, wait a minute.
Apparently, they had
it's not a Rolls Royce for crying out loud.
They had a better rep in the 70s than I thought.
At 1:12, Karen is caught by the town folk, and she realizes, hey, it was a conspiracy after all. At 1:14:45, TC is not happy. He was the one that Terry amputated his arm. There he is.
Yes.
She cut off my arm. Marcia's not happy with the doc, who's been trying to teach old wolves new tricks. He's been telling them, hey, we can fit in, we can do our own thing by ourselves without them knowing about us. Yeah, they're like, hey, we're werewolves. Come on, we're at the top of the food chain. Come on.
So this set that they're in now, I think they called it like the Lodge House or something like that, where like this is our first time seeing the inside of it. And this space, there's all kinds of things decorating this space. Go back two pictures, I think. One more.
Okay.
No, one more. Sorry.
Okay.
See the werewolf skeleton hanging in the background?
Oh, I did not notice that.
Just back there. That's a werewolf skeleton. There's a wolf pelt above the door. There's so many cool things in the background of these shots. It's like a werewolf den. It's really cool space, but it has like dead wolf stuff and like the next shot of our inbred buddy with one hand. There's all these rabbit skins on the wall. Lots of dead animals.
That poster of Marcia is probably up there somewhere on the wall. That's my guess.
It should be.
Okay, so Christopher uses silver bullets. He kills Quist with one right away, very fast. Actually, he uses two shots, which he'd already shot him once. He uses two shots, wasted a silver bullet. He didn't have to, I don't think. And he uses more silver bullets. And then we get the best line in the movie, which is by the guy that used to do the steak sauce commercials. He never did another steak sauce commercial after this movie. But he says, silver bullets, my ass, between his fangs.
All right, so this shot right here, this shot of our inbred buddy kind of half changed.
Yes.
This looks like one of my favorite Wolfman look is, of course, Oliver Reed, Curse of the Werewolf. Like, that's a good-looking Wolfman. But this looks like very similar to Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Look like I'm almost wondering if it was the same prosthetic,
Could be.
Because the brow's the same. Like, this is like one of the first times we see the Buffy brow, which
yes.
Buffy vampires and
everybody had the Cro-Magnon brow or the Neanderthal brow. Yeah.
boys had it, that real sweeping brow. But it's such a clean look. That guy's looks scary. One
Yeah.
hand and all.
All right. The next slide is the town surprised. He's got silver bullets. He did kill him, which I love. And then they all start going full werewolf. Again, silver bullets, my ass. Great line.
Right.
Then Marcia
Turns out-
goes a full beast.
Yeah.
And Noble Winningham is the name of the actor. And there is John Carradine. He finally gets to play the Wolfman.
His teeth are fine.
Yes.
He was complaining that he doesn't have teeth. Yeah, that's and that's a good look too. Like that right there. I know it's a partial change,
Yes.
but beautiful
But
long
he makes
hair.
a good werewolf. Yeah, he makes a good werewolf. Or a good wolfman, I should say. Silver bullets or burn them. That's what we have established in this movie. You got to burn them, or again, if you can lock them in a barn and burn the barn up, there you go. They can't get out. Silver bullets, burn them. Either one. So there they go, burning up the barn there. And now this shot here is kind of homage, I think, to the killer shrews. The shrews are always trying to bite through wood and make little holes.
Also, this shot is ridiculously sped up in the movie.
Yes,
it is ridiculous. It's ridiculously sped up. I want to address a comment where it says, "How could there be a werewolf skeleton?" I thought when a werewolf dies, he turns back into human. There was a running gag that I own a monster museum at a Renaissance festival where all kinds of monster displays are, and the first year we did it, I was a very poor artist making all these monsters, and I had a bunch of heads on the wall. One was a werewolf. It was just a person's head, just a severed head, because it turned back. And then there was another gag that we did with that kind of fact in mind was we sold werewolf claw necklaces. So the joke was they regenerate. So every morning we just go clip the claws off the werewolf, and he just grows more. So
okay, next shot. Oh no, Slim Pickens is a werewolf too. I love that shot, by the way. It just tickles me.
For some reason, a werewolf in a cowboy hat always works.
Well, and there's a lot of drooling going on with these werewolves too. There's a lot of drool going on in this film. Not sure why, but they all like to drool. Those teeth must be hard. So they jump into the sheriff's car. They try to get away, but a werewolf jumps in the back seat and bites Karen on the shoulder. They shoot him. Turns out that, oh my God, it's Bill. And there's the bite.
It's Bill.
What the hell is that? Play-Doh werewolves?
They went with, so all right. I do I have time to rant a little bit here?
Yes. What?
So yeah, this is stop motion werewolves. All right.
Yes.
And in the past, in order to do any kind of a full body monster, it's going to be stop motion animation. That's probably the best way to do it, unless it's actual animation. And since Jurassic Park, I think, is like the big movie where CG like worked.
Yeah, which was a couple of years after this one. This was 1981. So it was like a couple of years after they did the first Jurassic Park, and Industrial Light and Magic got CGI up to the point where it looked real.
There is, and I'm not knocking it much. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it never should have happened. I'm not saying CG is bad. But ever since Jurassic Park, now no one ever wonders how they did that. Yeah. No one says, "Oh my gosh, how did they do that? How'd they put that up on screen?" Because the answer is computers.
Right.
And this was the answer to how are we going to do that? How do we do full body werewolves? And the answer is we can do stop motion animation and, backlight them and do them as best as we can.
Yes.
But I don't mind the shot. Like, I like the shot. It shows that they're kind of forlorn in the background. Like, man, she got away. Never mind that we look like we can run 40 miles an hour, but that's very hard to shoot, I think.
So Karen and Christopher go back to the station, and Karen decides, I'm going to warn everybody by turning into a werewolf on the news report. And she does. And she's a cute blonde werewolf.
She is the Pekingese of werewolves.
Yes.
She looks like a Pekingese.
And he shoots her. I don't think she's fully transformed. The snout hasn't fully come out yet. Remember, it takes 3 minutes. He shoots her before that happens.
She had way less bubbling.
Way less bubbling.
She was not as bubbly. She got awkward throat hair and then right into werewolf stage.
Right. And he shoots her with a silver bullet. It's over. And then the last thing we see is that Marsha got out. She's the last shot in the movie. Well, actually, the last shot in the movie is a hamburger sizzling. Rare.
For the duration of the credits.
Yes. Which means it's not rare.
Yeah, so Marsha got out, and this was a perfect place to pick up and to do a sequel based off of this. Unfortunately, Elizabeth Brooks passed away. I think she died in 1997.
She did. She died of cancer, unfortunately. Very young.
Cancer.
Yeah.
And this was a perfect spot to pick up this series and do the second one.
Start the colony over.
And they did not. This is one of the best examples of a franchise gone awry. Because this is such a good kickstart. Awry. They leave you with a cliffhanger of this is how we can do a sequel. They ignore that in order to do the second one through 11.
Well, thank you so much for all your commentary on this and making it so interesting. Alan, we'll have you on again when we do American Werewolf in London and some other werewolf movies.
Everybody loves Alan. Everybody loves Alan. Like everyone was saying, what an amazing guest. You have to come back.
He knows his stuff. He's
absolutely amazing. He's a professor. I call him the professor. He's the professor.
I'm a monster guy, and werewolves are my favorite. So
yeah, and I definitely want to do Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman and colorize it for the audience, and we'll talk about that one sometime soon. Thank you again. I salute you, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Salute you. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to all the cadets who are here and who have been encouraging us. You can get your stickers. General, can you show them the stickers again?
The stickers.
The merch.
The stickers. The merch. The stickers.
And again, the hats. We have the hats. $20 with rank, $15 without rank. So, and keep an eye out for those big monsters out there.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. Oh yeah, show that. We'll end on that shot. That's a good shot.
Bigfoot sighting right there.
Bye.